Looks like we are live. We'll see. No one's with us yet, but we're live. So we're gonna check the microphone first because we didn't do that before, and what I like to check the microphone is I like to
So if you're watching live, I'm sorry for not introducing us here. I'm Carson Michael. This is Sacred Ground Community Church in Sangha, and we are starting our Sacred Ground Bible Church service. We're influenced by Victoria Morrison, Church of the Lions. I'm going to invite the bell to sound, and as I invite the bell to sound, I invite you into the presence. Everybody here too. Sorry, we're a little frenetic in the morning, especially trying to do the challenge here outside. It's so flat. So enjoy the sun.
I don't think the mic's working at all
So
right now.
maybe is it?
Yeah, that's the question. That's what I was asking. So
Okay, so I'm gonna work
the
on
mic's
that here for a
working
minute.
at all right now. Let me see if Yeah, that's the question. That's what I was asking. So,
Hello, everybody. Hi, remember me from a long time ago?
you are for one. Can you tell me your name?
Rita.
Rita.
Oh, welcome.
And you're
Yeah. Ollie.
Ollie. Oh,
Ollie.
that's what they call my little girl.
Do they?
Hi, how are you?
We'll be starting in just a minute. We're working on the mic right now.
I made it.
Yeah, good.
Hi, Michael.
Yes, yes. Welcome. Yes, yes. Well, you're welcome to sit where you like.
And you can sit at the chair.
Oh, Corinne, welcome.
Not Corinne, Pat.
I'm sorry?
Pat.
Oh, Pat. Oh,
Pat
yes.
Marita. Pat.
Oh,
Pat.
yes. My vision
I
from
know,
so
we're
far.
far.
Pat. Yeah, that should
Here,
be
we can move
there. Let me try. Ollie, let's try just unplugging it in both places.
And maybe we try unplugging the
Sure,
this guy
try
too.
unplugging that.
That keeps going off.
Why don't you
So
just unplug it
unplug
right
that.
there?
Okay, let's unplug that. I'm gonna unplug it here. Yeah, I'm gonna plug it right into here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on now.
It's on.
It's
Yeah.
on now. Okay. Okay.
I'm Shannon. Nice to meet you.
And no one's using the blue chair. If you'd like a chair, anyone is.
Having it,
There we go.
yeah,
I-
not blinking would be not mute, correct? I would think.
Yeah, I would think that too. And folks that are joining us online, let us know if you could hear us.
Yeah. So here I'm gonna tap the mic and let us know. And again, we apologize for everyone. We're a little slow on the startup here today, but that's okay.
Yeah. So can people hear the tapping of the mic?
Yes. So if you
And
can
I'm
hear the
gonna go
tapping of the
far
mic,
away
if you could let us know. And I'm gonna also invite the bell to sound again. And welcome Rita, welcome Pat. We are filming. We are going live on YouTube. So if you don't want to be on camera, you're in a good place there. We'll have sharing times. If you are fine being on camera, you can let us know. And if you just want your voice or you don't want to say anything, all options are available. And welcome to you folks too. I'm going to try we're going to invite the Tibetan bowl to sound, and we're invited to enjoy the sound of the bell in this moment.
good.
It's working. Well, welcome. This is the final online service for this season. We tend to work in academic years. It's just part of my schoolboyness. And this is our final online service, although we will be in person one more time next Sunday. And we are sacred ground. And our theme today is InterBeing, which is a word created, I believe, by the Vietnamese Zen Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, and we'll be talking about that. The other thing I'll just announce is that if you're on our email list, you know this, we are taking a sabbatical year next year. So I think I printed this up wrong in the email. The 2025-2026 academic year will be on sabbatical. There will be 4 services that year: October, December, April, February, and April. And we're taking that year. I learned, I didn't know this, that sabbatical is linked to Sabbath. And we're taking a Sabbath year to refresh, to go through our archives of everything we've been doing for 30 plus years. So perhaps a little more about that later. I will invite the bell to sound again, and then I will offer our first reading before passing it on to Miss Olive. And thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of Sunday morning with us, or whatever if you're watching live Sunday morning, or if you're watching the recording, to spend a little time with us. And if I were to try to describe our aspirations, I could say it in so many different ways. Eco-spirituality, connecting with Mother Earth, trying to take the beneficial teachings from Buddhism, Christianity, and Earth-centered spirituality, honoring the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, connecting with each other, building community. I think if I wanted to describe our aspiration, or at least my aspiration, in the simplest way, it would be watering beneficial seeds. We all have seeds in us of fear, of anger, of worry, anxiety. We also all have seeds of kindness, of joy, of equanimity. And how do we do the work? And Shannon and I've had some great conversation on this, because it doesn't mean you always take the easy road on this, but how do you do the work of watering beneficial seeds? And I know Pat, in terms of your things, you confront some of the tough issues of our time, but how do you do that and water beneficial seeds? And that's what we're about. And also a deep inclusivity. Whether one is LGBTQ, in part of that community, whether one voted very differently than I did. You are welcome here. Everyone is welcome here. And all others. The bell, and then the first reading. As we're invited to enjoy the sound of the bell, we might also enjoy the sound of the birds, or even the sounds of the planes or cars, wishing people well in their travels. Our first reading comes, appropriately enough for me, from the book Pieces Every Step. This is the first Thich Nhat Hanh book I bought out at Borders with my buddy Mark back in the 90s. And here's a reading from pages 95 and 96 of Pieces Every Step. We can say that everything is in here with this sheet of paper. We cannot point out one thing that is not here. Time, space, the earth, the rain, the minerals in the soil, the sunshine, the cloud, the river, the heat. Everything coexists with this sheet of paper. That is why I think the word InterBe should be in the dictionary. To be is to interbe. We cannot just be by ourselves alone. We have to interbe with every other thing. This sheet of paper is because everything else is.
Well, I'm going to invite folks, if they want to stand. And I need to get into my body. And I'm going to stand behind my chair.
Okay.
Let me see if that works on here. Yep, that's going to work.
Yeah.
And we've had a big week, or not many weeks, but a big week. My stepdad's in the hospital, and so this morning I've already dropped my mom off, checked in with the nurse, and then gotten here, and he's doing better, so that's good. But I feel it in my body very strongly, and I'm sure all of you have other things going on that in your lives that you feel in your body. So we're going to do a little movement, a little breath work, and then some prayer. So I'm just going to invite you first to find a stable footing, maybe feet a little bit further apart than normal, because I'm going to have us start to just bounce a little bit. And you could move in different ways. You don't need to bounce if it doesn't work for you, but just kind of move, start moving your body a little bit, shaking that energy that you have, just kind of feeling your breath quicken a little bit, feeling your heart rate. Us here at the park looking around. Incredible. The changes we've seen in the last month here, the different greens, and so you can start to slow it down if you want to or not, and go towards your breath. You can breathe in through your nose. I'm feeling like breathing out through my mouth right now, but you choose. You can leave your eyes opened or closed, or a lower glance. You probably can hear it on the microphone at home, but we are feeling an incredible wind right now. Breath, wind, spirit, prana, energy. It is as if the earth is breathing with us right now. I invite you to notice the rise and fall of your chest and your shoulders as you breathe in and out. I invite you kind of to push a little bit with your feet into the ground. You feel that energy coming up from the ground, washing over you, and maybe even imagine it behind you, going back down into the circle of energy from the earth to ourselves, up to the heavens, and back down. Circular energy that we're in. I invite you to notice your hands. You might want to have your palms going forward a little bit. I'm going to have us breathe in now and have our arms go to the side and then all the way up, kind of stretch them out to the side, stretch all the way up, stretching up. And then exhale, going down. We're going to do that a couple more times. With an inhale, going up. Stretching out, stretching up. And an exhale, going down. One more time. Inhale, going up. Stretching up, stretching up. This time, I want you to bend your elbows. Kind of open up your chest. Oh, feeling your heart opening, and slowly bring your arms down, opening your chest. I'm going to invite you now. I'm going to open my eyes if yours are not open, and I'm just going to bend forward at my hips, keeping my back straight and kind of looking down now, or just feeling down if you want to keep your eyes closed, but keeping your back straight. going down. I'm looking at the grass below us. Stretching out your legs. You might want to bend one leg or the other as you're looking down. Beautiful. Invite you to kind of bend your knees, come back up. We're going to stretch up again. I'm going to keep my eyes open and look up. Oh, wow. The sky above, the canopy of the trees. Oh, exhale, bend your arms, coming back down again. Oh, woo. One more time, kind of bouncing a little bit again, getting that energy. Maybe going side to side with your arms a little bit. Just feeling your body, feeling in this time and space. You want to kind of still come into stillness, eyes closed again. I'll lead us in a prayer in this centered, open space. It's a live space we've created in our bodies. In and out with your breath. Great Sacred. We give appreciation for being alive on this day. Hearing the bird sounds and the sounds of the people, planes and cars and voices. Oh, we give thanks for the wind and the sun. We give thanks for the beings around us here, the trees and the grass and the insects. We give thanks for being together. We open our hearts on those that are struggling and suffering right now. Just gonna imagine our hearts opening to those beams of light going out to those in war zones right now, to those in hospitals, to those who are lonely and scared. And our hearts also go to those who are feeling joy right now and love, knowing it all goes together. Help us to be able to be centered and open and grounded so that we can do our best to add to the good. Know that we're all connected. It's all connected. Peace and amen. Back down.
One of the things we like to do, particularly at Wild Church, is to express gratitude. I actually saw a tree that I think it was one of the tree. We'll have a solo saunter time, and I think I maybe visited that tree maybe the first or second time we ever did Wild Church. And when I walked by it today, I just had the desire to go up and say, hey. And we've spent a lot of time here, and we feel a connection to this place. And at the same time, we're guests here. The trees live here. The grass, the squirrels, the insects, they live here. And we're grateful that they have us here as guests. And we also speak sometimes of our blood, spirit, and land ancestors. The land ancestors, the Shawnee, the Miami, the Hopewell, the Adena, they're here. And I also think of, our eldest, who's in her mid to late 30s, and when she was a child, we'd come to these metro parks and play. And maybe sometimes we came with some elders back in the 90s who are gone now. they're with us. And the spirit of children playing here at all different times, all different decades. And the ancestors that we bring with us, whether it be Thich Nhat Hanh or living ancestors like Caitlin Matthews that we'll hear a reading from today, or our own great-grandparents. So we take a moment to, if you wish, to think in terms of one of those ancestors or one of the member of this greater earthen family, and to just honor them. And we could, if we wish, bow to them and say, we honor the sacred in you. And so I'll pick that particular tree. I won't try to point out which one it is. It's on the other side of the street there, right along the pathway. But there's a particular tree over there, and I bow to its presence. We honor the sacred in you. And others are welcome if they wish to do this.
To the wind today, just so fabulous. I really feel like, spirit surrounding us, all of us. To the wind, we honor the sacred in you.
It's life.
We honor the sacred in you.
To all those spoken and unspoken, we honor the sacred in you.
And I don't think we mentioned that people online are welcome to comment, and people have been commenting. So, thank you. I can't get to all the comments, but...
And I'll just mention, as we're speaking particularly to our long distance community, yes, we want to be as engaged as we can with you. And if, and this has happened before, if we accidentally get knocked off, we will do our best to, as soon as we realize that, get back on. So if we suddenly go and we're gone, you can just renew the page and you should see a new one. Hopefully that won't happen today, but sometimes it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people saying hi and good morning. Very nice.
How many people we have on here?
Looks like about 20 right now. So.
Oh, and let's honor the sacred in each other with a namaste bow. And I say this, I'm a slow learner, so I have to keep saying these things to myself again and again. But the invitation is to remember the sacred in oneself. That helps us to see it in the other. So we'll take a few moments to honor the sacred in the fellow two-leggeds here. And some of us may choose to honor the sacred in those of you who are tuning in. You folks who are tuning in, you're welcome to bow in. And I like to think, I'm kind of a Luddite in a lot of ways, but if we're going to have this stuff, I like to think of that technology allowing those prayers and well wishes and namaste connections to just reverberate out. So you can bow in, and we'll lean into that bowing being propagated. Yeah. I'll invite the bell to sound, and we'll offer our bows. And again, just take that second to just feel yourself as a bodhisattva in training, as a child of God, as a piece of Mother Earth, as we honor the sacred in each other. And here our eyes are particularly important.
Now we're going to have a time, if anyone, to be spoken aloud or in our hearts, our joys, our concerns, our prayers. If you're joining us online, you can add them to the chat. And yes, you may speak them out loud. You can bow in, or you can hold them and most of them we will hold in our hearts because we have many, many, many joys, concerns, and prayers, each and every one of us. So I'm going to ring the bell, and we can do a breath, and we'll have a time to voice those aloud if we wish.
I'm sharing an actual joy that could have been a concern, but it ended up being a blessing. I got rear-ended in bumper-to-bumper traffic downtown, heading on my way to my spiritual director meeting. Only had 10 minutes to get there. Young guy. I don't even know how it happened because we're bumper-to-bumper traffic. All these lanes, I'm like, literally we're creeping along, and he probably hit me, I don't know, 5 to 10 miles an hour. I'm thinking maybe he came in. I'm going to be meeting him today at the Global Gallery, and we're going to square things away. I was lucky that I went to a chiropractor. Things are okay. I went to an honest person, dent doctor up on Kenny and Henderson, and very honest Syrian guy who took care of it for about $500. And I felt really, really good about not getting involved and entangled in the world and all the legal proceedings. I'm like, I'm okay. My car is fine. Yeah, the bumper's already dinged up. We don't need to replace it. There's a little grace here that can be offered. And when I meet him today, I'm going to say, just pay it forward. And I felt really good because this just shows you how far I've come. When I got hit, I didn't get any adrenaline shot. I didn't get any obsessive thoughts about, why did this happen to me? Oh my God, what's this idiot doing? None of that. I'm just like, oh, you got hit. Oh, okay. No adrenaline. Not even any adrenaline. And I was like, this is the grace of God. I mean, this is what happens when you are truly seeing yourself in cooperation and collaboration with the way the world is running. Different people, they're crazy little different things and distractions, and yeah, these things are going to happen, but you know, the blessing is how we respond to it. right? I'm interbeing with this person. I know he's a young guy. I know he probably doesn't have a lot of money. Don't want to take responsibility for him, but I don't want to put any excess burden either. I want this to be a moment of grace. And thank heavens it was. And it also woke me up too. It got me a good chiropractic adjustment out of it as well. So I think, when we talk about joys and concerns, I do encourage everyone online and in the circle to recognize that when we respond with a sense of grace, openness, and learning, and recognize oftentimes it is these bamboo sticks of little events that happen in our lives that jar us awake, that end up being blessings and joys, even though they can initially be experienced as a concern. And I would just invite everyone not to make such a rigid difference between those two, to fully grieve and recognize and state the concern, and to pray and welcome grace into that, and the joy that comes with the fact that each and every one of us can heal and can help when there is a concern that is actually offered. So it just wanted to share that nice little incident where those two definitely came together for me. Zeus bowing out here.
Well, of course, my concern would be militarism in the world, and the notion that we should go out and hurt and physically injure other human beings, that this is an acceptable part of a culture that we live in, which is clearly not going to be sustainable unless we include everyone in as a living human being with human rights. And so I want to send a blessing to all those who are suffering so much in this world, just from the way we've treated each other and the earth. And then I'd like to share a joy of just being here today with friends that really care, and the beauty of the earth, and reminding ourselves of where we came from. So and thank you so much to Michael and Ollie for inviting us here.
Shannon bowing in. I'm grateful first to just be here. I have a joy, very big joy, for the ESL senior group that I've been volunteering with through CRIS, through Community Refugee and Immigration Services here in Columbus. Celebrating their 30th year of doing the work that needs to be done and should be done for immigrants and refugees to this country. I have added going to somebody's house to work one-on-one, and so I did that the first time this past week, and it was so awesome. All the people in this senior group are from DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. And I don't know their specific history, but I don't really need to know because I know that Congo is a mess. And the lessons that my new friends from Congo have taught me already, been working with them for almost 2 months. And I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to learn their language, Kinyarwanda, because trust me, it is nothing like you have ever, if you've only learned English, Spanish, French, those sorts of languages. And it makes me so deeply appreciative of how hard it is for them to learn English. Their mouths do not form these strange things we have concocted in English. And it's just wonderful. It's wonderful. So the joy goes with the concerns I have, of course, for all the refugees and immigrants in this country and the way they're treated, regardless of who they are, if they're here legally or not. It's and the work that people like Chris and all through this country do, because they've had to let go of half their staff in most of these cases all through the country. The staff members themselves are exhausted. They're doing so much more. So any help that you could give in your communities, whatever that is, it would be very, very appreciated. And if you can't, I understand. We can't do everything, so it's all good. Shannon bowing out.
I'm Rita, and don't know the right thing to say right now. So. Bow to the gods within all of you and goddesses. So I'm appreciating life right now. Today I was walking in the woods and just not realizing, but just knowing how precious moments like these are to spend with kindred spirits, for instance. I just came from 5 months in Italy, and I didn't have a lot of these kind of moments. They were precious moments too, but not these kind of moments where we can sit and really connect and speak the same language, and just realize how precious the moments are to recognize that. So I'm bowing out as Rita.
I want to share, I have concerns in my heart, but I want to choose to share a couple of joys. They're kind of interrelated. Actually, they're very related. One is our youngest, we have 4 children, our youngest, adult children. Our youngest is 18, and we certainly we're not on the low end in terms of the conflict. I don't know that we're on the high end, but we're not on the low end. And he's got a job recently working in this place, and sometimes he has to work till 1 or 2 or even 3 a.m. And we'll have these little rides together, and sometimes we talk, and sometimes we're just in silence, and sometimes those talks are quite nice. And there's a phrase that I used to say when the kids were younger, and I just want to remind myself of this phrase. I have been reminding myself of this phrase, and I offer it to anyone else who might find it useful. This is the spring and summer of our boy's 18th year. And just when I go there, as it's happening right now, my heart just opens, and I just want to enjoy what will be the only spring and summer of his 18th year. And what a blessing that I get to share in that. And related, because my son wouldn't exist and I wouldn't exist, good old InterBeing, without my mama. And as I sometimes mention here, my 95-year-old mom lives with us, and probably 5 days a week or more, she and I play cards together. We play 500 rummy. And she's an old card player. My little joke is, and sometimes I even win. But I read a piece by Tolstoy this week, and Tolstoy said the difference between children and adults is that children will play a competitive game and enjoy it, and then afterwards they're friends. And adults play this competitive game and they think it's life. And I'm so grateful. Just to give you a little recap on yesterday's 500 game, I was way behind. I made a startling comeback. 3 hands in a row. It was down to the final hand. I was just a few points behind. I thought I think I'm gonna pull this one out. And in rummy, you can hold your cards back or you can show them and then the other person can play on them. I was actually holding one hand back, but I had put one hand down or one run. And my mom's sitting there, and then all of a sudden, she picks up a card and she goes, "That's it!" And she puts all her cards down. She set me back 80 points. She got 70 points. She won in a beautiful blowout. Shocked me. I had no idea that she was holding back, that she had all these winning runs in her hand. And oh my gosh. This is the spring and summer of my mama's 95th year.
Ollie bowing in. Now I'm in tears. All right. Through these. I'm going to piggyback on Zeus a little bit. So like I said, this week we've been in the hospital with my stepdad, and Michael said we have a number of 3 elders living with us and then my dad. So a lot of elders around that we're with, which is such a blessing. And concerns for my stepdad, it was Alzheimer's and then in the hospital, and so there's been a lot of confusion, but he seems to be better. And just being in the hospital, this hospital down the street, and there, 1,000 or so beds. People, so many people, I don't even know how it all works. So many people getting care, so many people and the caretakers, so such joy for that. And also such joy that we're sitting in the room and my mom and I are there, been there a lot together, and she's telling me stories that I haven't heard before. And there with my stepdad's children who have come in from far away and visiting with them. And so this great joy in that, in this declining health that we know he was in the hospital a month ago. And it's this is what happens. I've seen it with my friends and their parents, and what is going to happen to each one of us if we live long enough. And it's just what life is, and it's the joy and the sorrow both together. So, and I'm going to look just to make sure there's anybody online that wants to share. Uh-oh.
Are we offline?
I don't think so, but I think I was about to go live again on my we try to have, okay, we try to be, yeah. Stacy just says, joy for starting my new position tomorrow. I'm concerned for Ollie's stepfather. Yeah, Stacy. And a number of people saying hi and good morning, and they're here for the first time, and enjoy a microphone in the woods. So it's very nice. And I'm going to go like this so I don't accidentally do anything wrong with that. And if I missed a comment, I apologize. We'll look again later.
Yeah, we do. We have sometimes missed one, and we don't do that purposefully. We're sorry if we know sometimes that happens. So we appreciate your grace on that too. Mm-hmm. So I invite us into that. Oh wait, you did the closing.
Yeah? Okay.
You close us
I
out.
can close this out. Okay. So for all our prayers and concerns and joys, spoken and unspoken, they unite together, and especially on this Sunday morning with so many other prayers being said in many different places. They unite together, we believe, to add to the good, to add to the concern for each other and the care. We give thanks. Peace and amen.
As I've mentioned before, we are and have been since 2009 a melding of the beneficial teachings from Buddhism, Christianity, and Earth-centered spirituality. And as part of our Sacred Ground services, we always have a reading from Judeo-Christian tradition, and I actually have it printed out here for myself today. This reading from the Bible, and this is from the Gospel of John, and just a couple of notes. A lot of people don't like the Bible, and that's fine. A lot of people have a literalist or fundamentalist interpretation, and that's their business. But I invite people who have a I will say this, that sometimes when I hear people in their critiques of the Bible, they sound remarkably similar in terms of their absolutism and their literalism to the people who are fond of the Bible. So I'll just say that. So I invite you to look for layers of meaning, recognize that there are competing voices. Oftentimes there's stuff in John which he holds a theology. There's different theologies in the different Gospels. You could check out my Fresh Green Blessings broadcast where we talk about this stuff. But here's a reading from the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verses 8 through 12, as well as 18, verses 18 and 20. And I'll invite the bell to sound. Since it's our last online broadcast for a while, I'll throw in this one other little thought. There's a story of Jacob wrestling for a blessing. And depending upon, might be wrestling with an angel, might be wrestling with a man, wrestling with God, but wrestling for a blessing. And that's my aspiration. Whenever I pick up the Bible, whether it's the most challenging text that just, oh my gosh, this is just violence and retribution, or it's absolutely uplifting, I'm always wrestling for a blessing. That's my aspiration. From John. Philip said to Jesus, "Lord, show us the Father and we will be satisfied." Jesus said to him, "Have I been with you all this time, Philip, and you still do not know me? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. But if you do not, then believe because of the works themselves. Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do. And in fact, will do greater works than these. Because I am going to the Father. I will not leave you orphaned. I am coming to you. In a little while, the world will no longer see me, but you will see me, because I live. You also will live. On that day, you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you."
The third reading is from Thich Nhat Hanh's No Death, No Fear, page 106 and 146. In the ultimate I dwell. The ultimate is the foundation of our being, the ground of being. The ultimate, or God, or the divine, is not separate from us. We are in it all the time. It is not somewhere up there beyond the sky, but we have to live in our true home in order to dwell in the ultimate, in order to live in the ultimate. I also accept all of my blood ancestors, both on my mother's side and my father's side of family. I accept all their good qualities, all the virtuous things they have done, and I also accept all their weaknesses. I open my heart and accept all my blood descendants with their good qualities, their talents, and also their weaknesses. Whatever tradition your spiritual roots are, you can include teachers from that tradition. My spiritual ancestors include the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, and the Buddhist disciples. If you have Christian roots, your spiritual ancestors include Christ, Christ's disciples, the saints, and the Christian teachers who have touched your life. If you have Jewish roots, you may want to include the patriarchs and matriarchs and the great rabbis. My spiritual ancestors, blood ancestors, land ancestors, my spiritual descendants, blood descendants, and land descendants are all part of me. I am they, and they are me. I do not have a separate self. We all exist as a part of a wonderful stream of life.
The fourth reading is from Caitlin Matthews' The Celtic Spirit, page 156. The interdependence of all living things is something we often take for granted. It goes unnoticed in the daily round, so we forget that what happens in one place has its effect on another place. It is only now that deforestation has been revealed to be a terrible legacy to our children that we begin to appreciate the contribution of trees to the life of our planet. At this time of year, the spring rains have an important function in the revivification of the land, especially around the full moon. Trees are able to draw up the rainfall from their roots to their highest branches so that the canopy can become green again. As the leaves emerge from their buds, we notice a corresponding unfurling of spirit in ourselves as we respond with gladness to the annual regreening of the world. As those leaves unfurl, they exude oxygen, so vital for our plant's atmosphere and our own living breath. The carbon dioxide that human beings exhale is absorbed and transformed by the trees. Our lives and those of the trees are beautifully and aptly intertwined as we share and replenish the atmosphere for one another. Our breath and the exhalation of the trees have a symbiotic link that is necessary to our very life. Verdancy of spirit comes when the sap rises in our souls. When we return to a state of thankfulness and welcome the spring with joy. Attune to the life of a tree. Meditate upon the life that you share.
Readings, okay. The fifth reading is from Thich Nhat Hanh's Love Letter to the Earth. In the Bible, Jesus said, "I am in the Father and the Father is in me." The Buddha also taught that we're all part of each other. We aren't separate entities. The Father and the Son aren't entirely the same, but they aren't completely different either. One is in the other. When we look into our own bodily formation, we see Mother Earth inside us, and so the whole universe is inside us too. Once we have the inside of InterBeing, we can have real communication with the Earth. This is the highest possible form of prayer. The relief we seek is right under our feet and all around us. If we understand our deep connection and relationship with the Earth, we will have enough love, strength, and awakening so that both the Earth and ourselves can thrive.
I have a little song now here called The Love Round, and if you know it, sing along, and if you don't, you'll pick it up pretty quick. And it goes, I think, like this. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we all are one. Once again. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we all are one. Animals. Love, 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 love. Animals, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we all are one. Plants, yes. Love, 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 love. Plants, yes, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we all are one. Minerals. Love, 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 love. Minerals, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we all are one. Ancestors. Love, 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 love. Ancestors, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we all are one. Descendants. Love, 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 love. Descendants, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we all are one. Last one, sacred beings. Love, 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 love. Sacred beings, we are made for love. Love each other as yourself, for we are all one. I hear an emergency vehicle and prayers for those for whom it is called. I feel incredibly fortunate to have discovered the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm sure I've shared here a few times before. I remember after I first started reading him, I thought, I feel like I'm reading the teachings of Jesus in what was then the 20th century. And Ollie and I have also had the opportunity to be at mindfulness retreats with him a number of times. And I think I chose the theme InterBeing knowing this was our last online service for a while. Because it's just one of so many ways. We could go with compassion, we could go with so many different things, but it's one of the ways of getting to the heart of it. A buddy of mine who's in his 90s, he playfully said to me a few years ago, he said, I studied perceptual psych as an undergrad, and he said, I cannot think of a better background for your future in Buddhism. And I've had a few moments in my life when I felt that sense of InterBeing. Quite a few. They tend to be moments. Sometimes I've held it for a few minutes. But I suspect that the Mother Teresas of the world, the Desmond Tutus of the world, the Dalai Lamas of the world, they get good at holding it a lot more. And I guess that's an aspiration of mine. To look, and when I see Rita, to be thinking, well, I see Rita and I see Rita's grandparents and great-grandparents. And when I see these children running, I see the trees that have fed them the oxygen and the plants and animals that are helping them to grow. And to know that none of us are separate from any of us. Tai says in some of his teachings that all dualisms and all dichotomies are the source of our suffering. That doesn't mean that we don't challenge, that doesn't mean that we don't work towards change, but that we ultimately recognize in every moment we are not separate, we are one. In some sense it feels kind of grandiose, but I think it's so basic. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for you all. And each of us with our different perspectives and our different experiences and our different as Zeus said earlier with the ancestors, you know, they all give us our what were the two things they give us? They give us
Things to do and things not to do.
things to do and things not to do. And we all do that. We all do that. I know, well, at least I know I do. And I tease my children and I say, that's your job, is to figure out which part of what I'm sharing with you, and I don't just mean when I'm talking to you, but when you're watching me, which parts are worthy and which parts are not. And that's for you to figure out. That's the discernment is your job. Just this morning before I came here, I do a little 6 directions prayer. I've shared it in various forms here online, and I'm thinking of my sister who's been gone since 2007. My dad gone since 97. My buddies of mine who've passed, as well as some of the living. And knowing that here in 2025, I'm not separate from them. I'm not separate from any of you. I don't know how many years I've known Pat. Pat sends out this great.
About our age.
Pat sends out this great year summary every year, and like, you know, it's always so inspiring and challenging. And haven't seen Rita for a long time, and you know, it's just so good. Shannon has been one of the. I think after Michael and all, you have to say Shannon and then maybe Scott in terms of solid people who have been here through this latest iteration of Sacred Ground. And then Zeus and I, who had this little connection in seminary, and we've become friends. And then, you know, I know we heard from Stacy. I think we heard from Michael today. And those of you, there are those of you online who I read your comments and I go, oh gosh, I'm so glad we're having some connection here. And some of you, if I passed on the sidewalk, I wouldn't know who you are. We've never met. Well, you've seen me perhaps, but I've never seen you. And it's all powerful. May we continue to water beneficial seeds. And as part of that InterBeing, I want to say we are one more live service if you're in Central Ohio next Sunday. And then, as I said, just 4 services next year, October, December, February, and April. But folks, if online or locally, if at some point you would like to talk with Ollie or myself, we are available. We are not putting up walls there. We'd be glad to connect.
So sabbatical doesn't mean seclusion, is that what you're saying?
Sabbatical doesn't necessarily mean seclusion. No. There'll be moments of it, but not always. No. And I guess I'll say just here, we started this experiment in 2009. I would say we probably began discussing it in 6 or 7, Ollie and I. And I'm very fortunate, we're very fortunate to get to play with you all. And to experiment. And to try our best to be what we're here to be. I mean, and I'm a total work in progress. I have so many gunk places in me. And at the same time, I'm so grateful for all the moments of realness and authenticity and kindness and growth. And thank you all for all of this. And we look forward. No one knows how long we have, but we look forward to what might emerge in the fall of 26 after that sabbatical.
Kind of Kind of sounds like the end of the service, but it's not. It's like I'm just
That's why
Michael.
there's two of us here.
So now we have a time for folks, if they wish, to go have a solo time in nature, a solo communion in nature. And we are running very late today, Mr. Malley.
I'm not worried about it.
I gotta go back to the hospital, so I'm gonna.
I'm sorry.
I'm keeping a tab on it. Yeah.
Do you want to observe what
For 30 years
a
together.
30 years of a couple?
Yeah.
Shannon's going, no comment.
Well, that's because I've been with my husband for 40 years.
That's what I'm saying.
So it is, Shannon, you have a timing device out.
It is 11:44.
11:44. So I guess 12:05.
12:05, good.
12:05. And I know that's late for some people, so.
And
But-
we do understand if anyone can't stay, and also people online. We'll keep this online. You can always check in later.
Yeah, we'll keep, and hopefully we've lost this connection a lot during this time, so we'll start it up again. But so we're going to have a 20-minute time for people to walk or sit or be in nature wherever you want. There's the prairie over here. This is all natural playland, so you're allowed to go anywhere, but there's a lot of poison ivy coming up.
Yeah.
So just so you know, bathrooms are over there. And then we'll meet back here and have a time that people can share from the readings, from their life, from their solo communion, and people can share online.
Yeah, we want to encourage people to share online as well.
Yeah.
And I also want to say special thanks to Victoria and Valerie, these two sisters. And I've joked with Valerie because she spoke of her sister Victoria. I just thought, they're sisters in the sisterhood of caring for the earth. Well, they're actually
Sisters.
birth sisters. and they have both been profound in this wild church movement. We are so grateful to be a part of that, and we will continue both in our few services next year, at least some of them, and into the future. I'm sure that Wild Church is going to be a part of what Sacred Ground continues to be.
So we invite you, we're going to ring the bell, and we invite you to find a spot or to walk. And we talk about being tugged sometimes in one direction or another, and to enjoy your solo communion time.
And
with
you folks as
nature.
well can either watch here or you can have your own solo communion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
12:05, right?
12:05. I think we're gonna have to see if if Zeus wants to wake up. I think I think he might really be asleep over there. Want me to ask him?
You can ask him.
I can ask him. Okay.
So, after this sacred saunter time, we have an opportunity, if we wish, to share. It might be a sharing from our saunter, it might be how one of the readings or our prayer time or the silence has touched us. We invite people to share from their, not so much philosophical, theoretical, but from their personal experience. And the way we do the sharing within the circle here is when someone wishes to share, they bow in. If you remember, you say your name, you share, and we listen. It's an uninterrupted sharing. You might raise a question, but you don't get an answer. We just listen, and when you're done sharing, you bow out. For those of you who are watching with us online, if you're with us live, you can also share, and we'll do our best to share those with folks. If you're watching this as the recording, you're also welcome to share, and hopefully then other people, including ourselves, will go back, and when they look at the recording, they'll see your sharings there as well. So those are all opportunities for us to share with each other. And one thing we always say is it's nice to have a couple of moments of silence between people sharing. It just, again, we're invited into something different. Not talking on top of each other, but also just honoring whatever someone has shared and creating a space to just sit with their words before the next person shares. And we are running late, so as I'm rambling on, we should and I should be mindful of time. So.
And the other thing I'm going to mention is I know Shannon and Zeus are okay being on camera, so I'll put the camera there, but you guys will have the microphone for other folks so people can hear at home, but we won't put the camera on you.
So people are welcome whenever they wish to bow and share.
Zeus bowing in. It struck me. I was feeling just this air just makes me feel really, really calm. So the good part of the time I was just lying down, but I went over to the little natural play area and had my feet on that nice bark. There's these playthings over there, big logs that you can kind of balance on, and it had been worn kind of a little bit soft by all the feet that had been on it, so it actually had kind of a massaging feel to it, and it got me into this train of thinking. And I also noted a little tick on the end of one of them, and you know how the horror that evokes in people of diseases and things like that. And I thought, isn't it interesting that the thing that can be very rough, bark, and the thing that can be very scary, tick, is just part of life and kind of a bit of a miracle, just to be able to see and experience. It's exactly the opposite of the way it gets portrayed when you remove yourself from nature, or you just think about your own initial reaction to something. And then I thought about this in terms of a journey I've been going through, trying to make peace with the Old Testament, which is 95+% really violent, not just R-rated, but oftentimes X-rated material. And what I found as I've gone on my journey is that it really brings forward the tragic in life, not in a depressing way, but in a way that makes me understand my relationship with God, that humanity is in development, and that we are always going to exceed ourselves if we open ourselves to God. We will never be able to carry the entire world on our shoulders and do it ourselves. We are truly an interbeing. And so when I read the Psalm, was it 139, where it says, happy will I be for dashing your kids' heads against the rock, your babies, infants, your heads against the rock. And I see that as a kind of honest but grief-stricken cry out to the kind of tragic nature of life, right? And and a call to some kind of reconciliation, right? Not as some people read the Bible as a literal thing to do, okay? Or commit genocide. There's another very big part in there called harem, where it literally says murder every man, woman, and child. Yes, that's what the Bible says, but understanding it as the tragedy of life, caused by our separateness, rather than the appreciation and joy we can get at even those things that make us frightened, brought together in interbeing, all as beloved children and creations of God, then we can begin to create a restorative approach to these things. We can have that as a call, where our response is healing rather than perpetuation of violence. So ticks in particular bring a lot of fear. And I just happened to look at that tick at the end of the log and notice its beauty. Not harming anything, part of nature, one of the children of God as well. And to begin to realize I'm not above, apart from, and against this life and all of creation. I am truly interbeing. I am with it. I'm that tick's biggest fan right now. I am appreciative of the way in which that bark feels on my feet and is massaging my feet. I'm appreciative for the children that have run along those logs to soften that bark, to make that a pleasant experience. And I'm certainly also appreciative of the ancestors that have gone before. Michael and I were discussing it, the things to do and things not to do, that from my own father, how much his own suffering has helped to inform me and some of the tragic stuff that he got engaged with, in helping to supply the information and the learning and the growing. By his sacrifice and by his example, I do not have to go through, as well as some of the more honoring, critically aware and loving engagements that we have had as well. So I am trying to, through my mind, get past the dichotomy, and it's actually my heart that's already providing the answer as I walk out in this sacred saunter. So just a thought. Just bowing out.
I'm Michael. I saw a dandelion with the all puffy white, and I picked it up. I plucked it. I felt plucking it because it's going to seed, and it was striking to me when I went to touch it that I actually couldn't tell when I was touching it. It's that soft. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, this is what I used to do when I was a kid, right? And blow the, we would call them Santa Clauses going through the air. And then, risk of TMI here, had to go to the restroom, and so there was a little ledge, and I set the dandelion down as I was about to use the restroom, and realized there was another dandelion right there, dried out, that someone else had picked and set on the ledge. And that was just so delightful. And I thought, well, it could have been a little boy, or it could have been another white-haired old guy, or someone in between. And so I took both of them, brought them both back outside with me, and then I saw another one that had lost all of its seeds and little white parachutes, and it was just there, just the stem. And I'm like, well, let's honor you too. And I picked that one up too, because you're just at a different stage, right? You've done your work. You provide the beautiful yellow and the bees food and the new seeds, and you're just on to the next phase, and you still have some life there that's going to go back to the earth and that. So then I had the three of them. Then I walked over to a sycamore friend of mine that I can't get too close to, probably poison ivy at the base, but sometimes its branches reach out, and oh my goodness, it had leaves that just rested on my head, and it just felt very sacred. It felt like blessing, especially as we're finishing up this season. And so I don't want to even talk too much about that, but I was very grateful for that. Very grateful for that. And it literally felt like I remembered when I became Roman Catholic when I was in college, and I remember the laying on of hands, and it was the laying on of leaves. It was very, I feel very, very thankful for that. And then I thought about bringing the three dandelions back, and right there was this thistle. And my mind went to Jesus and the thorny crown. And I thought, that suffering and that selflessness that part of that story represents to me, I'm going to place these three dandelions in their various states here with the thorny crown. And again, to Valerie and Victoria and this wild church model, because this invitation to touch the sacred through the natural world, which is completely aligned for me with the Buddha and Jesus and God, and realizing that I'll borrow JC's words, the kingdom of God is at hand.
Ollie bowing in. I'm going to just read Mark said, I'm selfishly sad to know that I won't have this Sunday morning time together with our Sacred Ground community for the near future, but wish everyone health and happiness till we meet again. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, brother.
And I'll just share myself. So I walked around, and I got just right over here, right near the prairie, and I looked down and I started noticing baby maples, like this big, baby maples. And then I started looking, I started counting, and then I went around, and there were like 100 at least baby maples in the grassy area, like right there. And then I looked up and looking for the maple tree, and they're all oak trees. So I went on a search. The maple tree's a little further over. Found the maple tree, but it wasn't like right near where they all were. And just, of course, thinking about new growth and regeneration and the earth's resiliency. And then kept walking. And then you see there's like a kind of an evergreen that's not very evergreen over there, but it has green leaves all the way up the middle of it. I was like, started getting a little closer and looking at all these like leaves on it. Oh, that's with berries. That's poison ivy. Like, and it is like strong because it goes from the bottom, big hairy at the bottom, all the way almost up to the top of that tree right there. So just incredible. And of course, noticing the poison ivy other places and the resiliency of poison ivy. Wow. And I saw right beside it, somebody had cut, oh gosh, there goes the tape. There goes the microphone. Guess we've been going a long time. That's what. Thank you. That's never happened before.
We're okay.
We all survived.
Yep. You asked about the tape being enough. I was like, oh, fine. Yeah.
Do you need more tape?
I think we're well.
Yeah,
I'll say
it'll last.
it'll last, right? It'll last,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Zeus and I have confidence. Maybe. So yeah, poison ivy, and then just noticing all these oak trees. There's so many. There's not so many maples. There's a few maples growing like right here. All these little trees behind us, but many of them are oaks, which is interesting because so many baby maples. So whatever that all means, that was part of my discovery here during this time, and certainly thinking about the circle of life with these elders and our grandchildren, and seeing all these little kids running around the park. And I know my challenge that I do know is like being able to know that I'm at a different time of life. Our youngest is 18. The blessings we have grandchildren and we have youngness around us, but like we definitely have moved. We're not moving. We have moved into this different time of life that we're moving into. Maybe we are our elders, but taking care of elders, and really being able to appreciate all the different stages of life. Ollie bowing out.
Pat bowing in. So I live in Sharon Woods, but not the park, but the housing development where I've lived for 47 years. So I've been over here a few times, like hundreds of times. And I've walked over here, and I've mostly probably ridden my bicycle over here and around the bike path many times, and down past St. Anne's to the Alum Creek Bike Trail, and up to the County Line Road, and down to Easton, and walked all of these paths, and cross-country skied back in the day. When we moved here, the bike path wasn't really paved, and they would come in the wintertime. They would put up the cross-country ski tracks in, right there. Of course, now they plow the bike trails, so that you can't cross-country ski if there would be any snow. But so I walked along the ravine, which I could greatly appreciate. The small amount of less than totally flat, and then around the edge species, and I noticed lots and lots, tons of blackberries where I walked, and some of them were spectacularly blooming, so that was very, very nice. And of course the poison ivy and so much Virginia creeper, and so it was nice to get out somewhere. I spend a lot of time outdoors in my yard, but and that keeps me from getting more time in the park because I've slowed down in my elder years and don't seem to get much done. So thank you for allowing us to have that time and space ourselves. I appreciate that. Pat, bowing out.
We'll allow for another minute or two if anyone else would like to share, and there's certainly no obligation, but you're also welcome to.
I'll bow in for a minute. I always feel like I have only so much time to talk. But I had a lovely little walk. I was looking for mushrooms. And then I sat on the log and decided to do a middle world journey to the tree and asked for a wise one to come. And Jesus showed up and said, I and the Father are one. And then he took his red cloak and walked around me and put it over me. And so I know that there are people in a circle who may know that significance of the red cloak. And red to me means life and passion. But it was like a protection almost. It just did it over me. And today I had a dream about a mother archetypal type friend of mine in Italy, and I think I was just kind of crying or finding solace with her. So I'm getting these two masculine feminine images of somehow finding solace with her. So I'm bowing out. This is Rita. Thank you.
Are there any other sharings?
That's it. Well, there's only a few announcenots. So we're going to meet back here next week if you're in Columbus, and this is the last online. But you can go to our website, theholynow.org, to get for more information, support what we're doing and what we will continue to do, just in different ways. And our YouTube channel that you're on right now has lots of other things that you can watch too. So I think that's our information for today. And Michael will lead us out in prayer.
I'd say too, on the theholynow.org, our website, there's a contact, and if you'd like to be on our email list, we will be sending periodic updates during the sabbatical time as well as when those services will be, but just also sort of updating on other things, what's happening with us, and some thoughts regarding.
And maybe putting other things up. We don't know.
Yeah, we're not sure how it's all going to unfold. So yeah. So I'll invite people, if you wish, into a place of prayer or meditation, and yeah, I'm just feeling so much gratitude for each of you. I want to take a moment and just make eye contact with the people here. Yeah, and you folks there online. Sangha, spiritual community, is so vital, and I think that while we're doing this sabbatical, at the same time, recognizing that community continues to be, especially at all times, but in challenging and difficult times, however we can manifest community, different ways that we manifest community, so important. And thank you, Ty, thank you, Thich Nhat Hanh, for introducing me to the concept of mindfulness and presence. We're invited to enjoy this moment, the sound of the bell. And I invite you into a place of prayer, meditation. Great Sacred, I think I learned a new mantra today. I am in you. You are in me. I am invited into that mantra with my family, with my friends, with the tick and the sycamore, with the ancestors and the unseen. With the acquaintance, the bank teller, the cashier at the mini mart. And with the so-called enemies. Those who are really frustrating me. Those who I see as causing harm. I am in you. You are in me. We are not separate. With true vision, I know that we are one. Thanks for this circle. Within a circle, within a circle, within a circle, within a circle. The circle of these human two-legged sitting here. The circle inclusive of those who are watching online. The circle of our greater communities, the circle of our planet, the circle of our rotation around the sun, the circle of the sun. Circle, 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 circle. I'll ask for myself, and if it's appropriate, you can ask for yourselves. I ask for help to continue to grow, to continue to learn, to continue moving towards non-dualism, towards compassion, towards loving kindness, towards selflessness. And help me to understand that I want those moments like I had started my prayer today when I talked about my son and I talked about my mom. Like I sometimes feel when I think of the suffering in Ukraine and in Gaza and in so many places in the world. Help me to know the great gift, the great, great gift that that lump in the throat or water in the eyes is, because I'm getting a little closer to the soul. Oh, great sacred, help us to be soulful. Help us to continue to add to the good. And we offer up this day's service and all that we've been trying to do since 2009. May it continue to reverberate. Despite our missteps, may it mostly reverberate for the good. We give thanks. It's an amen, and amen, and amen. And thanks to each of you, and thanks to all of you. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us over the coming weeks and months. We will be glad to be interacting with you, and we look forward to what lies ahead.
Namaste.
Namaste.